Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are once again rocking with your one and only host, the Astro Guru, aka owner of the Emerald Tablets, and better known as the Aggressive Detective. So, you are once again watching Astroteric TV. I apologize for the slight pause. I'm just a little, I'm in my zone right now. I've been firing on all cylinders, and I'm kind of, of course, I'm loving life as usual. However, tonight I will be explaining to you all how to win in any situation. Now, first, you have to look at winning. There's more than just, I came in first place, or you beat your enemy. You don't want to have a small-minded way of thinking when it comes to winning, because you can win even in a loss. I actually like the wins that come with losses much better than the wins that come with wins, just because I'm not looking for validation or confirmation or to be cheered on. What I'm truthfully looking for is the life lesson. I want to know how to overcome the overall situation, which is why that's the best win that you can actually have. And it takes going within to do that. You can't be blaming people outside yourself for your misfortunes and inadequacies. That's not how that works. So, how you can win in any situation. Now, no matter what situation we pick, past, present, or future, you use one step, and well, it's probably about 4 or 5 steps, but the first step, of course, would be to admit that if confusion came at some point in time in the situation for you, then you did not have clarity, which is why I also said past, present, and future, because we can pick out a past situation that you weren't so clear on just by the results we got. Like, who got the short end of the stick in the situation? That's who was wrong. You understand? It's just like, I give you a situation. Say I'm married. Me and my wife took vows to not, cross each other in a sexual way. So at that point, the person that's like, there's 2 ways to go about it if it's like cheating or whatnot. So say we got an open marriage and we both know, or even if my wife just decides, because I tell her, I keep it honest with her, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I might step out and, we come to an agreement, then we haven't broken the bond. But when distrust comes in, you've broken the bond. So because of that, that's where like alimony, child support, and things like that come from. You've broken the bond. Now, the only way you should even be able to make it to like, having vows and things like that is because there was a bond that you both felt like couldn't be broken. Some people, marry for money. Some people, marry for status, fame, things like that. We're all different. And I'm not going to say that anybody's wrong in that, because we're all searching for happiness, which is also why I do as much research as I do and call myself the Aggressive Detective, because the happiness that I was looking for had to be substantial and it didn't have to come from outside of me, which is why in order to win in every situation, you have to go within. So, if we go to a present situation and say, I'm presently married, then you're taking the same situation now, and I've never been married, but let's say the present situation, say, I'm married. Now, at the point that if I don't say anything to my counterpart and I step out on them, I'm already moving with regret and being ashamed, and I'm gonna have guilt. I'm gonna go through this cycle of negative feelings because of what I've done. And also, if I don't have accountability for what I've done, like say, my wife, say I do what I do, and then my wife catch me and I'm just like, oh, well, you don't cook, you don't clean, I had to find something to do. That's a lame excuse, because once again, you're placing the blame outside yourself. Now, if you felt that way, then Maybe you should have told your wife, listen, babe, this ain't gonna work. What you mean? You don't cook, you don't clean? Like, nah, I'm thinking about, feel me, like leaving you or going, because that's really ultimately what it is. If you got eyes for somebody else to stand a third, you're ultimately trying to leave your partner. And you're not happy with your partner. You're seeking validation, confirmation, things like that. Infidelity is on the the feel me, the although say what's the word? The you know how like they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, yes, infidelity is beheld by the person that is, stepping out, doing whatever they do. It's on them. That's something within them that they need to correct. The need to seek validation through physical touch with somebody else and all of that, blah, 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 blah. Or, they're not happy with their life and all. You want to live $1 million life, but you only got $10,000. What are you doing? Putting yourself in a position to lose for a very long time. And that's just not how we move, because we like to make good decisions. You feel me? But, it's okay. That's why I'm a convoluted conundrum with the spectacular vernacular. Hold myself impeccable from time to time, but it's all right. Now, that's why we're explaining this. Now, being that I'm having this conversation with you all right now on this camera, we can bring up the future, because I have already done the one thing. We're going to get back to that one thing. I'm showing you what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at the situation from a distance. I'm observing and analyzing a situation from a distance. The past is in the distance. The future, that's distant. So, but I'm building the future with the tools that I have knowledge-wise and now. And if I notice that I do not have the proper tool, that's what we need to practice at. That's what we need to work on. So, if you find yourself failing as a parent, you need to work on your parenting. You don't need to find somebody else who got all the qualities that you don't have, because who's to say that they want that on their back? You have to be open with these things. You have to have honesty, vulnerability, once again, humility, accountability, responsibility is... I feel for us. I desperately do feel for us. Oh man, this is just, it's magical. I'm not even biting my lip right now. I just gotta find something facially to do so that I don't utter the wrong words. But, because the king likes to speak, so I'm not talking, I'm speaking. Parrots talk. You feel me? Yeah, that's that. Parrots talk. I don't talk. I speak. Because I'm the king. And however, even when it comes to that, in the future, by me going within, looking and analyzing myself and working on myself as a human being, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm trapped in working on myself for the rest of 2022. Because 2022 has been a very enlightening year for me. But back to the nature at hand. In the future, being that I've done all of these things to work on myself, and I feel like, I'm ready for marriage and responsibilities and things. I got accountability and whatnot. I admit when I'm wrong, no problem. And I go perfectly out of my way to not do certain things because I know my nature. The objective is nature versus nurture. So that's how you also place yourself in a duality. Once again, that's the two. So if my nature is to be violent and curse people out and this, that, and third, but then I work on myself to a point where that's not what we do anymore. That's just not how we respond to things. It does not productive. It doesn't work. Will I fail sometimes? Possibly. Anything's possible. I won't say that I'm perfect, and I might slip, but by paying so much attention to it and being mindful, you won't slip as bad as like you used to. You understand? Like you might go from like shooting people to like just knowing how to defend yourself. You might be, man, I'm tired of fighting. Like, it's like you gotta try to decrease it somehow, some way or something. You gotta find success even in the little accomplishments. So, and that's how you'll make bigger accomplishments. They call those milestones. But yeah, it's like in a future situation, you married to your partner. Now, I already know these things. So being that I'm explaining to them to you, and I already know these things, perhaps I get in a situation and say I ultimately just do wrong. I ignore the fact that I already know I should be honest and vulnerable with my partner. And I shouldn't be vindictive and spiteful. Oh, she don't cook, blah, blah, or she always telling me, and just, that's not an excuse to, go do that. So in that case, it's more like I'm going to blame myself and receive worse karma than somebody that doesn't know, because God protects fools and babies. So if I don't know, then that's one thing. I'll learn through the experience. But if I've already been through the experiences and I'm holding some type of resentment towards somebody and everything like that, walking around living with regret, then I'm going to take my anger out on the person subconsciously through my actions. And they'll be confused once again as to why I'm even doing this. And now you're going through a cycle that you shouldn't even be going through because you knew better. And in turn, the scales always have to be balanced. So if I'm not hurt at all by me doing somebody wrong, that's gonna hurt them even more. You understand? Because it's like we was balanced, everything was beautiful. I cheated on my wife. That's how it should be. Now my wife is above me. If I don't treat her like the queen she is, she gonna leave me. If I'm saying like, oh, blah, 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 she gonna leave me. But if I'm, taking my accountability, responsibility, and we got the actual, we doing better, it balances back out. Now, also as well, like I said, if I'm supposed to be down here taking my accountability and responsibility, but in my head, I'm still up here, that takes my wife to like, what? Like, so you did me wrong, and now you're going to justify you doing me wrong with this lame excuse? Okay. We're not going for that. Like, nah, you just showed your true colors. Like, it's bananas. Like, how do I understand it? I would say I don't know, but if you know, you know. Nobody ever really knows how they know when they know, but I'm just a receiver of the truth. I get these downloads from the big guy. Give it all to him, because I'm not that great. I'm always gonna say that. I'm not that great. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a great person. I'm a king. I stand on top of the castle. Like, it's no problem. I'm also the man on the mountain. I'm the lone wolf. I don't need nobody. And I love it that way because I have never misled myself. I've never lied to myself. I've never tried to harm myself. Like, I love myself. So I don't try. I keep myself out of certain situations by analyzing the situations from afar, things like that. And it's always worked for me. The only time that I have to now go through lessons is because the universe is tricky. It'll bring a situation that's so fast I won't get to analyze it. Or I might get caught up in the rapture of a situation and then, I can't really analyze the situation or whatnot because, for instance, you meet somebody on social media, you're not meeting the person, you're meeting their representative. So as you meet their representative, you like, bro, you loving a representative, you feel me? So you get caught in the rapture, but when you meet the person in person, you might not like what's going on. You might not like what you see with your two eyes. Over the phone, feel me? The phone calls was cool. That's how they got in. They snuck in to the emotional aspect of you because you was, wanting a partner, wanting somebody to talk to and whatnot. But I just wanted to give y'all something to think about as usual. I'll see y'all later, man. Till next time.